Hi, my name is Phaedra Buenodiris.
And I'm Garrett Rowe. Both of us have numerous responsibilities here at IBM, but gaming is a focus and a personal passion for both of us.
I'm also the former CEO and co-founder for womengamers.com.
And that brings us precisely to why we're here today. Phaedra and I got into a deep discussion about the toxicity that exists in online gaming today, our thoughts about combating that toxicity, and the tooling that exists to help the largely manual process.
Toxicity can extend into every facet of the gaming environment. When presented with the opportunity to introduce non-curated content, there will always be a vector for toxicity to invade a community.
Exactly. You've got online forums, you've got live audio, you've got video, you've got objects that might be in the background of the video. There's just so many things to monitor.
So at the scale of the gaming community and breadth of the possible vectors, the only tenable solution to platform-wide toxicity is the inclusion of artificial intelligence into the core of the actual gaming engine.
Essentially creating a single pane of glass for all of the toxicity mitigation tooling and procedures that you're going to use,
while also ensuring consistent standards, the transparency of the decision-making, and the ability to detect previously unseen toxicity.
So naturally I thought, awesome, let's start coding. But then Phaedra reminded me, hey, there's a lot to take into account here.
Today, incidents of cyberbullying in general are more than double what they were in 2007. 87% of young people have seen cyberbullying online. Roughly 4 in 10 Americans have personally experienced online harassment, and 62% of it consider it a major problem.
Okay, so find the toxic content and balance free speech rights. And be very context sensitive, because language is nuanced. You've suddenly gone from PyTorch 101 to something a lot more complicated.
AI holds great promise in the ability to stem online toxic behavior from within games, but there are complications that can be daunting. By tackling the 3 pillars of culture, forensic technology, and governance standards, a game publisher can use AI to help their community managers create safe environments that also balances free speech factors.
So let's start with culture. What do we mean by that?
For example, do you have an AI ethics board to begin with? And what is the governance standards associated with that AI ethics board? So again, these are things to consider. The second pillar, apart from culture, is the use of forensic technology. This is used for tabular data. But when it comes to hate speech, there is no de facto repository for how to train an AI on hate speech. So this is a much trickier challenge.
I'm smelling some code in our future here. And this is where I start to draw on some of my background. I joked earlier about PyTorch 101, but it's really true that the simplicity of modern machine learning languages makes it so that this problem seems like it can be easily tackled, but it really can't. The problem comes in with transfer learning. Now, for those of you that don't know much about transfer learning, essentially you take a very large data set. Typically, Wikipedia is used. In any case, most likely a heavily curated content set that likely includes no instances of bias. Applying a relatively small data set of toxic content to train this much larger data set to identify the toxic comments. This is almost guaranteed to have unintended consequences of pulling acceptable language use into toxic flagging. And it will create an endless set of seeming edge cases that the monitors will have to manually train around.
The third pillar is governance standards. And this is governance standards that you would publish, not just externally within the market, but also internally as well.
So tooling is really important here because it's a lot of information to manage, and it's going to be versioned and it's going to change.
So to recap, culture, the use of forensic technology, and the governance standards.
Head out and read our article online for more. But for now, I'm Garrett Rowe.
I'm Phaedra Buenodiris.
We look forward to speaking to you about this in person. Until then, have a great day and talk to you soon.